Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream, and I'm going to work on step one with you today. We're going to be looking at the section under step one entitled Unmanageability, and we're going to look at a couple of questions, a couple of bullets. So grab your flat books, step working guide, and let's turn to the page we're going to be on today. We're on page 5 of your flat books, and I will share the screen with you. Okay, let's see here. Here we go. Okay, so the last coverage that I did on step one was under unmanageability, and it started on your page 4, and I did 5 bullets exactly. Um, let's say 6 bullets. I wonder if I did 5 or 6. I believe it was 6. 2 from page 4, and I believe I did 4 from page 5. So we would be on bullet number 7. And I will go back into the recording from the last time I covered it and get that to read correctly. Okay. So let's go ahead and look at this. The last time we were together, I talked about, do I insist on having my own way? What effect has my insistence had on my relationship? So I did talk about that. There's probably an issue with this PDF, but this right here in your books, this question right here is actually bullet number 7. Do I consider the needs of others? What effect has my lack of consideration had on my relationships? So I'm hoping that you're able to see that. Okay. I'm looking to see what they've done here, and I think I see it. Up here, bullet number 3 was actually, this part was bullet number 3 in your books. Okay. And then this one that I said would be 3B was actually bullet number 4. And you can easily just renumber them. Just cross out what you have and make it according to your book. Okay. Because this is simply just a PDF file that I'm using. So in the book, we are now looking at question number 7, bullet number 7, and you will have written it. If you follow with me, you will have written it hopefully as it is according to the book and not as I indicated. So this is bullet number 7. Oh, way to start out the morning, but let's go ahead and look at that. Do I consider the needs of others? That is a closed-ended question, and you're going to say yes or no. So 7A would be yes or no. Yes, I do. The B portion of 7, what effect has my lack of consideration had on my relationships? Okay, so I answered it for me in the here and now. But if I'm looking at 7B, it's asking what effect has my lack of consideration had on my relationships? It had effectively ended them before they even got started sometimes. Generally, if the relationship was not important to me, it didn't serve my end game, I was not very considerate at all. And losing it wasn't an issue. So there was no loss, right? However, the ones that were important to me and the disease of addiction put me in a situation where I was not being considerate, what it did to those particular relationships, this is my 7B answer, is it embarrassed me. It caused me to have shame and it caused me to have guilt. So even if the person was willing to maintain the relationship with me, I would avoid them. I would avoid them even if I was yearning to make things right. I didn't know how to make things right. And so I would avoid them. I wouldn't call them. I wouldn't show up. It just effectively froze my relationships that were important to me in time. because I was just too embarrassed to approach. So effectively, it ended them as well. The ones I didn't care about, okay. But the ones that I did, it ended those as well. And that would be my 7B. I feel so sorry about the numbering, but it's an easy thing to correct for you. Okay. Go according to your flat book if you have it. I'm assuming most people have the flat book, but if you don't, you can easily get it, right? So now let's look at, I'm trying to highlight this for you. Let's look at another one. We'll just take a couple more of these. Let's go to 8. In 8, there should be 3 questions, and I'm going to read them to make sure they add up with this PDF. Do I accept responsibility for my life and my actions? That's 8A. 8B, am I able to carry out my daily responsibilities without becoming overwhelmed? And then 8C, how has this affected my life? Okay, so the PDF is correct here. Okay, and this is question number 8A, 8B, and 8C. Do I accept responsibility for my life and my actions? Open-ended, closed-ended question. Closed-ended again is just yes or no. It's not giving you an opportunity within the question to actually elaborate. So don't try to elaborate at this point because there's probably other questions or describe or something like that that will ask you to. So closed-ended answer, mine would be yes, I do. I do accept responsibility for my life and my actions. Am I able to carry out my daily responsibilities without becoming overwhelmed? And that is 8B. For the most part, I would say like 80% of the time, I'm able to actually carry out the responsibilities of my day without becoming overwhelmed. Keyword, becoming overwhelmed. There are times that I am overwhelmed. I still carry out my daily responsibilities, but I become overwhelmed. So the answer is the majority of the time, yes. 80% of the time, yes. How has this affected my life? Again, because I have such a high level of responsibility, when I drop the ball or I'm overwhelmed and I'm not able to, that 20% in my life, I start to beat up on myself. I start to have self, I don't want to say so far as to go self-loathing, but I could say self-loathing, low self-esteem, aggravated, angry with myself. That's how it affects my life. And that would be 8C. Let's go ahead, seeing how we're whipping through these really quick. Let's do 9, bullet number 9. Bullet number 9 has 2 question marks, so you have a 9A and a 9B. Do I fall apart the minute things don't go according to plan? No. 9A, absolutely not for me. I do not fall apart because a lot of times they don't go as planned. And I have already written into my DNA resiliency, a way to respond to when things don't go as planned. So that is my 9A, my 9B. How has this affected my life? Positively. It's affected my life in a good way. 9B, my ability to make adjustments at the drop of a hat has affected my life positively. Now, I have watched other people respond to unforeseen events a lot more gracefully than me, more quickly, right? And it's something to admire, right? Being able to go with the flow regardless to what the flow is doing, even if it's not what you have planned. But for me, it's helped me become more approachable, um, more of a team player when it's necessary. So it's added to my life to be able to keep it together when things don't go the way I want. All right. You guys ready for one more? Let's do 10. Let's do 10 and then call it good. And then I want you to have your answers for the rest of them before we come back together, okay? So 10 is 10A and 10B because there's two questions. Do I treat every challenge as a personal insult? Not anymore. No, not anymore. Before, I treated every challenge as a personal insult, as rejection. Even if they were in a position to actually pull me into their office and give me constructive criticism, I took it as a personal insult. And you could see it. You could see the dejection on my face, and I would be very quiet sometimes for days, non-responsive, not able to hold anyone's eye contact because I felt ashamed. I took everything personally. And a lot of times that's why, things didn't get done on my job because I didn't know the answer. And I was afraid to ask the question to get the answer that to know what to do because I didn't want to take a chance on letting someone down or my pride being hurt. And it ended up being hurt anyway because I didn't get the task done. And when you come up for reviews and you have, say, 100 tasks that you've been given in 90 days and you've only done half of them, and the other half are still stacked up on your desk because you were afraid to ask one question, that's a character issue. Albeit that it has to do with, self-esteem issues. A lot of people are very graceful, will give you grace. It still caused me not to be able to carry the ball that I needed to. I let my team down that way. So I did, yes. The answer to 10A is yes. How has this affected my life? The way that it affected my life back then, it made people feel that I was wishy-washy, that they couldn't rely on me to necessarily do what I said I was going to do. Now, in the here and now, do I treat every challenge as a personal insult? Absolutely not. No. And that adjustment from then to now, how has it affected my life? It's helped. It's helped me be more relatable, more reliable, and more relational. The 3 R's for me. Okay, so I've taken you through to 10. I'd be interested in what your responses are if you want to leave them down in the comment below, or you want to reach out to me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. In the subject field, if you send me an email, just say step coverage section and whatever it is and whatever bullets you're going through, and then I'll be able to follow you. Okay, and I apologize for that error. I will be using this PDF file, so I will have to add it up with the book and then give you that information as we go along in the future. Have a beautiful day on purpose. Talk to you soon.